From, so.
You ready to go?
It is.
Anytime you're ready, you can do the do.
Man, if he's gonna do it live, he's gonna do that.
And talking.
That.
Oh, I hate the way that looks. I'll go here.
Okay. This is later.
That's later.
Yeah. So.
You wanna talk outside?
Yeah. Tove.
It's fine.
Marcy's World, a place to learn how to begin important conversations with children, how to set healthy boundaries, address behavior issues, and how to create a safe space in your home. Hi, I'm your host, Dr. Nancy English. Marcy's World airs between 9 and 10 a.m. Saturday mornings exclusively on WPWL 103.7 FM, Poland Public Radio. We're streaming live right now over Marcy's World Facebook page. And now I invite you to all join me in Marcy's World. We're going to get...
And thank you for joining us this morning here. It is a new story. So let's see what happened. The sun hadn't yet set. It was 6 o'clock on the dot when Dad's car pulled up. If you remember from last week, Dad started a new job. Let's see what it was about. Marcy shouted to him from the kitchen as he opened the front door. So cool that you're home before sundown, Dad. Well, it helps that the sun stays higher longer. You know, this was summertime. But I know what you're saying, and yes, I agree. Dad was in a really good mood. Mom came into the room carrying a load of clean laundry. Oh, honey, I didn't hear you drive up. So Dad took the laundry basket from Mom. He started to help out, even though he had a really long day, but look at all that energy because he had such a short commute home. I appreciate that. You know, the load is still a bit damp. The dryer's broken again, and I think it's a clogged vent. So Dad disappeared with the laundry basket, and once he came back, Marcy said, "Oh, I thought you looked so nice in your sports jacket. Why'd you change?" And Dad smiled and said, "I gave one of the guys a lift to a meeting, and the smell of cigarette smoke was overwhelming." "You let him smoke in your car?" said Marcy. "No, but it was all over him, and I couldn't stand it. At least I'm wearing a t-shirt you guys gave me for Father's Day last year. See, greatest dad in the world." Beth walked into the room. "Hi, Dad. Cool that you're home before sundown. You wore that to work?" Okay, so nobody's really communicating, but there are lots of assumptions. And Dad and Marcy sort of shared a smile and a glance. "Nope, I washed up for dinner." It was after, and then Marcy interrupted. "A guy at work smelled of cigarette smoke, so Dad changed it when he got in." Oh, so there was Marcy kind of helping out. Then Mom added her thoughts. "Well, I, for one, am glad that your commute was cut in half. And I really appreciate your changing out of that cigarette smoke shirt. Oh my gosh, I'm glad you explained it the way you did because I was a little like, what? I wondered what that smell was." "I'm working on my communication skills," said Dad with a smile. "And everything looks great." He was looking at the table and it was all set so nicely. "I'm starved." "Yep, special organically raised grass-fed beef burgers with all the spices you like," said Marcy, bringing the guacamole to the table. So Dad pulled out Mom's chair and Marcy goes, "Aw, that's so sweet." Marcy and Beth took their seats and Dad put his napkin on his lap. "So, where should I begin?" Dad asked. "At the beginning," shouted Marcy. "He knows that, Marcy," snapped Beth. "Dad's asking where we want him to begin, as in, what part of the story do we want to hear first?" "You didn't think I knew that?" asked Marcy. "Well, then why'd you ask?" Oh, wait, no. I know why. You like to hear yourself talk." "As a matter of fact," said Marcy, "I prefer not to talk, little brilliant sister. I'd love it if others knew what I was thinking before I'd actually have to say it. I interrupt just to let you know I understand and to save you time. You can't be serious. You want me to believe you interrupt to do others a favor? Asked Beth. Yeah, I like to help people out. Beth rolled her eyes. You interrupt to show you're a know-it-all, a smarty pants. Did it ever occur to you that interrupting is irritating? I resent you're making false assumptions about why I interrupt, Beth. So Beth took a deep breath. Okay, so you're saying, Marcy, that you interrupt others as a favor to help them know that you know what they're trying to say. Yes, Beth, that's what I'm saying. Don't you know sometimes people need to hear themselves talk because they're actually thinking out loud? And Marcy actually gave that some thought. And she looked pretty serious. She said, wow, I never thought about it that way, Beth. I know you were just trying to be obnoxious, but I learned something about myself and communication, and really, I thank you. I mean that. I resent that, said Beth. Resent what? You assumed I was trying to be obnoxious. I wasn't. And then Beth glanced at Mom and Dad, who were ready to say something she figured out she would prefer not to hear. So she cleared her voice and continued, yes, I resent your assumption that I was trying to be obnoxious when in fact it comes quite naturally. Everyone appreciated this splendid turn of events, since recognition that this was supposed to be Dad's special night to share his news of his first day of work in this very brand new place was becoming overshadowed by bickering at the dinner table. Did that ever happen at home to you people? Did somebody ever come home, all you people listening, somebody ever come home and say they had a lot of news to share and yet somehow the whole conversation got hijacked? Okay, well that happened a lot at Marcy's house. Okay, so Marcy said, isn't it nice to know that even though you started a new job, Dad, not much has changed at home? Marcy was being a little bit sarcastic there. Well, I must say to everyone here that it's been a pleasure to have a shorter commute. And it's especially wonderful because it brings me back to the family I love, said Dad. Even if it includes bickering between my wonderful daughters at the dinner table, being home in half the time feels excellent. So that was pretty good, right? So Dad filled everyone in on his day. Dishes were cleared, and Mom prepared decaf espresso from, remember when Uncle Max and Aunt June brought the espresso maker special for Dad to honor his new job? So Mom prepared decaf espresso to serve with freshly sliced pineapple. Oh, that's nice. That's helpful. Sounds like this was a really good choice for you, Dad, said Marcy. I mean, this new job closer to home, and you look peaceful. Okay, so let's take it out of the story for a second. When we sit around the dinner table, if we're lucky enough to be able to have dinner with the people who we care for and feel safe with, we pick up on vibrations, eye contact, channels, energy. You can tell by looking into someone's eyes, and we had a story about this once. You can tell by looking into somebody's eyes if they're angry, if they're peaceful, if they're confused. So it might be a fun experiment to try doing with somebody who you trust. Just look into their eyes, say, let's do an experiment. Let's see if you can guess what I'm thinking or feeling. So when we're with family members or a bunch of friends, we tend to scan. And if we can make eye contact with somebody, that person actually feels safe with us, unless they're shooting darts at us through their eyes, and that's an entirely new discussion. But at Marcy's house, when the family got together, they tried to make a few moments of observing each other's eye contact, just to see where they were, spiritually. So Dad smiled and nodded, because Marcy picked up on the vibe that he was feeling peaceful. So he smiled and nodded. Well, let's see how it goes. Today was different, that's for sure. He wasn't going to be wearing a tie and a jacket every single day to work. I'll see how the team on the job shapes up. remember going into it. He knew he had a very strange first day because it was an orientation day and a day of a lot of meetings. Okay, so dads, did that ever happen to you where you started something new and you were sort of a little bit, you didn't want to get too excited about it? Sometimes a new relationship with a person or a new position at a new job or a new job altogether. Even if you go to a new school, the youngsters who might be listening to this broadcast, you went to a new class on the first day of class. You're kind of like really excited, but you don't know about the teacher, get your hopes up. You go by reputation, what you heard in the past. Okay, so Dad's excitement was more about his family than the new job, but he did like that shorter commute. So the girls headed to their own bedrooms to finish their homework, and Mom and Dad stayed at the table. And Mom poured herself another cup of her favorite peppermint tea. She filled Dad in on her day, including her visit with her sister. Remember that was the last story when we talked about Aunt June's healing journey? She filled Dad in on that discussion, and then they talked about scheduling a service visit to fix the laundry dryer, right? That didn't dry the clothes properly. So there's a lot of other stuff that's going on at home too, and Dad was mindful of that. When we do something new, it's important to be mindful of the people who are in our orbit and that they're also doing new things and experiencing difficulties and struggles. Everyone has a story. And it's important when we're experiencing new waves in our little ocean of life. It's important to recognize that there are other people who are also experiencing their own version of the world at that time. And Dad was staying mindful of that, and that was good. They were talking about it, Mom and Dad. So Marcy was eager to hear about Nikki's in-person visit with her own sister, if you remember from the other story. Nikki was going to meet her biological sister, right? She was going to have that important meeting with the social worker. And she learned a whole bunch of new stuff. Okay. So Marcy was eager to hear about Nikki's in-person visit with her own sister. Her mind wandered, and she found it hard to concentrate on her own homework. So Marcy decided to write in her diary. And she reached around in the secret hiding place under her mattress to take the diary out, and then the phone rang. So you remember, this is after dinner, so it was at night. And that was odd for the family because usually there were no calls on the home phone at night. Sometimes Marcy heard Mom's cell phone or Dad's cell phone, but the home phone was usually quiet after about 7 o'clock at night, unless there was an emergency. So the sound of that ring startled Marcy. Mom answered it, and Marcy listened. Sure, just a second. Marcy, Mom called up to Marcy's bedroom. Phone. Huh. Marcy dashed downstairs. Who is it? Marcy asked. It's Nikki, said Mom, and she handed the phone to Marcy. Nikki, are you okay? Asked Marcy. Yeah, I just wanted to talk to a best friend. Nikki sniffed and blew her nose. Nikki, what's going on? Did you meet her? How did it go? Marcy ran up to her bedroom with the cordless phone in hand to sit on her bed and hug her pillow, preparing to listen to her friend's situation. All sorts of thoughts and ideas flooded her mind. She remembered what Beth told her at dinner about letting other people finish their thoughts without interrupting. So, stepping out of the story for a second. Marcy had a really good relationship with her best friend, Nikki. They always interrupted each other and finished each other's sentences, and that was part of how they confirmed that they were on the same page. But now Marcy learned something from her sister, even though they were teasing each other and bickering over dinner. You never know. People who are even fighting with you, sometimes they learn things from you when you talk. So, Marcy kept in mind what her sister Beth said to her. Don't interrupt. So it sounded like Nikki had a lot of processing to do. And Marcy was honored to be a trusted best friend, especially now. And to find out what happened when Marcy listen to what Nikki said and to find out what happened when Nikki met her sister in person. Tune in next time to hear another brand new Marcy story. You've been listening to WPWL 103.7 FM Pauling Public Radio, here live from the Rush Studio in Pauling. And this is Marcy's World. I'm your host, Dr. Nancy Anglitz. Stay tuned for the Health and Wellness segment, which will focus on diabetes, the difference between type 1 and type 2, how to have a healthy summer, and what's the challenge about insulin. You don't want to take too much. Following a brief break, we'll be right back. Sorry. And you guys go over to the Holistic and Integrative Healing to hear that broadcast. See you there.